What is CPU scheduling? Scheduling means planning. So CPU scheduling is that process which allows one process to use CPU while the execution of another process is on hold, or say it is in waiting state, maybe because of some waiting state of unavailability of any resource like input, output, etc. The main idea, the key idea is to make full use of CPU, or CPU should not sit idle. The main aim again is to make the system efficient, faster and fair. This is CPU scheduling. When the CPU is idle, means it is not doing any work, operating system must select one of the process in the ready queue to be executed. And this selection process is carried out by whom? It is done by the STS, that is the short term scheduler, or you can say a CPU scheduler. This scheduler select among various processes in the memory that are in ready queue, and then it allocates it to CPU. Dispatcher. There is another component, or another you can say execution which is involved in CPU scheduling is dispatcher. This is very important. What is the dispatcher? The dispatcher is a module. It is actually a module. So dispatcher is a module. It is a module that gives control of the CPU to the process selected by the short-term scheduler. So what is happening? Short-term scheduler selects a process. Among this, it selects, say, this process. This process, now the dispatcher is that module which will give the control of the CPU to this process which is selected by STS. So what are the processes which are involved in all these activities? First is switching context or context switch. Then switching to user mode and jumping to proper location in the user program in order to restart that program. The dispatcher, which is the module, should be very fast, or you can say as fast as possible, because it is invoked every time. It is invoked during every process switch. So it has to be very fast. So the time it takes for the dispatcher to stop one process, means stop one process and start another running, is known as the dispatch latency. So we want this dispatch latency to be as least as possible. How to define or explain the dispatch latency? Let us see. What happens? This is the dispatch latency basically. This is the time. This is the time, or you can say duration. So an event is there. There is the response to an event. This is the response interval. This is the response interval. Then the process is made available, and this is the real-time execution. And this is the dispatch latency of the dispatcher. And this in between you can have the conflicts and the dispatch, proper dispatch. So what are the types of CPU scheduling? There are certain circumstances, mainly 4 circumstances, in which the CPU scheduling decisions are being taken. When, first of all, when a process switches from the running state to waiting state, that is, it is waiting for some input output request or some invocation of wait, or maybe some termination of the child process. This is the first circumstances, or first circumstance of the 4 circumstances where the CPU scheduling has to make decision. The second is when the process switches from the running state to the ready state. Now it has come to the ready state. Now you have to give it to the processor. maybe because an interrupt has occurred. When a process switches from the waiting state to the ready queue, now it is in ready queue. Maybe some input output has been completed. The last one is when the process terminates. So in these circumstances or in these situations, there is no choice or no options in terms of scheduling. A new process, if it lies in the say ready queue, RQ, it needs to be selected for execution by the whom? By the processor. And there is a choice in this 1 and this 2 and 3. When scheduling takes place only under circumstances 1 to 4, as we have seen, we say that the scheduling scheme is non-preemptive. Otherwise, the scheduling scheme is preemptive. So two type of scheduling arises, non-preemptive and preemptive. Under this non-preemptive scheduling, once the CPU has been allocated any process, the process will keep the CPU or CPU, it will keep on executing until it releases the CPU by itself, or by terminating, or by switching its states to the waiting state. The scheduling method used by the Windows 3.1 and Apple Macintosh, this is the method. It is the only method that can be used on certain hardware platforms because it does not require a special hardware. For example, a timer needed for some preemption. Preemption means to break. Preemptive scheduling. Preemptive scheduling, this one. In this type of scheduling, the tasks are usually assigned with certain priorities. At times, it is necessary to run these certain tasks that has some higher priority before the others. So the process which is running right now is interrupted for certain time, and it may resume later when the priority task has finished its execution. Scheduling criteria. So there are various criteria or criterion to check whether or when considering which is the best scheduling algorithm. We'll talk about the scheduling algorithm. First is CPU utilization, throughput, turnaround time, waiting time. Then we have load average and response time. So let us discuss them in brief. CPU utilization. We want to use the CPU as best as possible. We don't want to waste any CPU cycle. So we want CPU to be working almost 100% of time. Consider just a real system. CPU usage should range from 40 to 90%. Throughput. Again, these are the scheduling criteria. Throughput. Per unit time, how many processes are completed? You can say total amount of work done in a unit time. So this may range from 10 per second, 1 per hour, depending on specific processes. Turnaround time. This is the time taken to execute a particular process. That means the time interval between the submission and the completion, right, of the process. Waiting time. This is the sum of the time, sum of the period spent waiting in the ready queue because the process is ready. So it is in ready queue. And the amount of time a process has been waiting in the ready queue to acquire the CPU. So these are the sum of the periods spent waiting in the ready queue. This is the time, and this waiting time should be as least as possible. Waiting time, we have seen. Load average. It is the average number of processes residing in the ready queue waiting for their turn to get into the CPU. So the load should be as least as possible. Response time. The amount of time taken when a request has been submitted until the first response has come. You are asking someone to give tea and the other person is not responding. The other may respond in say 2 minutes. That is the time. So it is the time till the first response, not the completion, because the time he or she is going to take to make tea maybe more than that. That is the response time. So in general, CPU utilization and throughput are maximized, and other factors which we have just seen, they are reduced for proper and efficient optimization of CPU. So this was about CPU scheduling. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.